Now, the 4th of July is a relaxing holiday for most Americans, unless they're on the campaign trail. Let's check in with how the Republican race is going with Anna Nix Kumar from Monument Advocacy. Anna, thank you so much for your time. Now, you've done plenty of campaign trails in your time. What did you make of how the candidates spent this Independence Day?
Hi, Annalise. Thank you so much for having me. Let me tell you, Independence Day, the 4th of July, if you're on a campaign trail, it means parades. That's what you do. You go into parade after parade. And as you can see in some of those clips, it was a little wet up in New Hampshire this weekend. But yeah, the candidates, they hit the ground. Most of them hit the ground. We had Governor Ron DeSantis up in New Hampshire, along with Senator Tim Scott. Vice President Mike Pence decided to go over to Iowa, where he's been focusing a lot of his time. New Hampshire saw a lot of other candidates as well, although they were not quite as household names as the other ones that were up there. And President Donald Trump wasn't anywhere.
He just sat the whole day out, didn't he? So what do you make of the state of the Republican race right now? We're getting very close to this debate coming up in August. Who do you think's ahead? Who do you think's behind?
I think it's pretty common knowledge right now and well established that former President Donald Trump is still very much ahead in the polls. It doesn't seem like he can do much of anything to make a big dent in his lead at the moment. And the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is definitely that obvious second candidate. And then after that, or second place candidate, and then after that, in that kind of third tier, you have Mike Pence, Senator Tim Scott, you have former Ambassador Nikki Haley. I think you also have Chris Christie in there, former governor of New Jersey, just because of his household name and because of the energy he's going to bring to the campaign. And then after that, you have a bunch of different people that are not household names, we can put it. But I think the really important thing is right now, everyone's on the trails. They're focusing on those early states that are going to vote early: Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Nevada. Interestingly enough, both Tim Scott and Nikki Haley are from South Carolina, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But really importantly, and something that we don't spend much time talking about at this point in the race, is that next week we're going to see Q2 fundraising numbers come out, and that's really where you're going to see how people are going, because you need money to run campaigns, but it also really helps with the momentum going into the summer and going into that debate in August.
Yeah, and it's funny to see all the numbers starting to get leaked out now. We'll see what numbers actually get reported when the deadline comes. But so we're talking about this debate in August. It'll be broadcast on Fox News. This is going to be the first real hit for any Republicans who want to be the nominee for the Republican Party. We have 12 who've declared right now. It's getting awfully late in the game for anyone else to be putting their hand up, even though the election feels like it's so far away. But how many do you think will actually make the first debate stage?
So the Republican National Committee, who sets the rules for the Republican presidential primary, um, puts together criteria to decide who's on the debate stage. And if you can remember in 2016, that oftentimes there were a few different debate stages, but coming up to August, there are going to be some different criteria. One of them is going to be that you have to be polling consistently at 1%, which doesn't sound very hard, but it actually is quite hard. Especially for some of the candidates in the race. And then there's also criteria based on what your donor base looks like. So you need a variety of different donors in a variety of different states to show that you do have that grassroots support and not just that super PAC support, not just the one or two really wealthy donor supports. And so I think that's going to help cut away some of the candidates on the main stage. There is talk about possibly having a second debate, a kids table debate, have you? But I think we'll know a bit of that closer up.
That'll be the
I
fun
think
one.
that would be the fun one. That would be the fun one because they're all just trying to make some news, right? But I think the big question also is if President Trump is going to debate. And right now we don't know what that answer is. And then that leads to the other question of it might be a really boring debate if it's not Chris Christie and Donald Trump going at it. So
We might actually talk about policy or something. Can you imagine a stranger thing to
well,
watch?
that would just
I don't know.
be silly.
I think Donald Trump has to do the debate. That's where he wins. That's where we see him bully everyone on the stage. He'll land some insults. He'll get under Ron DeSantis' skin, and all of a sudden, he'll own it.
Well, that was his strategy in 2016 2016 in the primary, and in 2000 or in 2020 he had to because he was the only nominee and he had to go up against Biden. But in both those cases, he was behind. And so the debates were really, really in his favor, but he's ahead right now. So I don't really know what he gets out of the debates. I'm not sure if he can stop himself or help himself from doing it. But it's really easy to lose a debate and it's very hard to win a debate. Now, Donald Trump can win a debate, but everyone's going to be going after him. And so I think that's something that his team's going to be mulling over from now until about mid-August.
That is true. And if Donald Trump's still true to form, he'll probably say one thing and then surprise us all at the last minute doing something else. We'll have to leave it there. But thanks so much for your time.